Disclosure is hyped as the only path to truth, but could it actually be a shortcut to more trauma? And what if there was a way to get the truth without having to blow yourself up time and time again to get it? After betrayal, everyone tells you to get the full story. And of course, you want to know everything that happened and you want to feel grounded in your reality. But here's the truth. Your brain and body may not be ready for that. And so how do you get real answers without cracking yourself open time and time again? In this video, you'll learn why full disclosure after betrayal often does more harm than healing, and you'll discover a safer, trauma-informed path to clarity and trust that actually helps you rebuild instead of breaking down. Hi, I'm Elise Craft, a trauma-informed somatic life coach. I help women, men, and couples rebuild after betrayal and reclaim their lives. So let's get into point number one, what disclosure really is and why it often fails. Let's name the truth. Disclosure is usually presented as this sacred process where the betrayed partner finally gets everything laid out on the table. I also bought into this concept, and in theory, it sounds incredibly noble and that it would actually work. But in practice, it often becomes a harried, incredibly stressful, painful, and performative process, not a moment of healing. It's built around fear. Fear that there's going to be more secrets, fear of losing the relationship, fear of being shamed, fear of not being able to rebound afterwards. So what you end up with is a literal data dump, not deep healing. So if disclosure isn't doing what it's meant to, the question becomes, is it just poorly delivered, or is the very foundation broken? To understand that, we have to look at what betrayal does to the brain. So this takes me to point number two. Betrayal trauma literally alters the brain, so disclosure can be really harmful. So let's talk about what actually is happening in the brain after betrayal. The hippocampus shrinks. The amygdala is hyperactivated. Executive function goes offline. Your nervous system is not in a state that can process or integrate complex emotional information. And so how on earth does it make sense to put anyone into a clinical style room, whether it's in person or on Zoom, and dump a grenade of details on their already fragmented psyche? You're not weak or wrong for wanting a disclosure, but your biology is telling you that it's not safe and it's right. There is a better way, so keep watching and I'll share a framework that honors truth without crushing your nervous system. If you're navigating betrayal and you're craving something real that's not re-traumatizing, I invite you to book a free consultation call. The link for that is below this video. Now that you know what's happening in your body and brain, let's talk about what you're actually seeking when you say you want disclosure. Point number three. What you're really craving is clarity, not a data dump. And most people don't actually want every gritty detail. What they want is a sense of stability. They want to stop spinning. They want to stop wondering what's real and what's not real. Disclosure promises that, but rarely delivers it. And in that is a huge problem, because when it's done prematurely or without relational safety, it creates more fragmentation, not less. And that brings me to point number four. What works better? Relational transparency process. So if full disclosure isn't the way, what is? What is the alternative that actually leads to restoration rather than to more rupture? Instead of one big, scripted, emotionally chaotic session, I teach something called relational transparency process. It is a process where truth is shared in real time with attunement, ownership, and nervous system safety. No performance, no pressure, just honest, attuned truth-telling at the right time in the right way. This process actually helps partners build new patterns of communication instead of reenacting old ones in the name of healing. And so that brings me to point number 5. You're not avoiding, you're protecting your well being. Here's what I want you to hear. I have listened to countless partners filled with anxiety for weeks, even months and months prior to actual disclosure. And the angst is quite literally the last thing that your brain and body and nervous system needs now. If you're not doing disclosure because it feels unsafe or re-traumatizing, you're not avoiding the truth. You're actually listening to your inner wisdom. And wisdom is the foundation for long-term repair. You get to decide what kind of healing you want. There's not just one way. There is your way, your path. I can help you walk that. And so if this is resonating with you, if you feel like there's truth that needs to be spoken, but you don't want to destroy each other to access that truth, that's exactly what my relational transparency framework was built for. Disclosure isn't wrong, but it is often misused. What we want is not performance. We want presence, not pressure, but partnership. And the path to truth must be paved with safety, or it's not worth walking. If you found this helpful, you want my help navigating your relationship recovery, book a free consultation call. We'll map out a plan specifically for you. You're not alone and you are not crazy. You're just waking up. I will see you in the next video.